I thought that the day my story came out, my ministry would be over. Turns out that's the day it started. Reputation was everything for me. I set out to build a good reputation and to protect it, which meant that there were parts of my life that I couldn't let anybody see. There were some battles I had to fight alone.
I've read that infidelity is the, next to the death of a child, the worst pain. It's so painful. You're in this pit and you don't see that you don't feel like there's any way out. And then you'd have to tell your kids.
The morning I woke up and had to tell Nathan what I had done, that was probably the most difficult day of my life. Just to see the hurt in somebody's eyes that you really care about.
I just sat back and took a deep, deep breath because I'd been doing the same thing. My expectations was that Katie would pretty much cook and clean the house, because that's what I was brought up to believe.
I always expected Nathan to be always loving me and paying attention to me and helping me and sharing in responsibilities.
Nobody wants to live with a secret. It torments your soul. It bothers your conscience. I created this guy that everybody loved, and I went home and didn't like myself. The effect of holding a secret that long is that you never had the freedom to be you. I don't carry secrets anymore. One day, we were playing in a neighborhood. I grew up in a nice little neighborhood and just playing with some friends. There was a neighbor that lived across the street from me. And he told me to come over to his house. So I came over to his house and didn't go inside the house. He said, come in the garage, I gotta show you something. And so I go into the garage and he just starts touching me. Just inappropriate touching. And I was 8. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what he was doing, but I knew it wasn't right. And I came home and I walked in the door and my mom asked me, how was my day? That was the day I became a professional liar. And I got real good at it. A couple of days later, I got called to the garage again. and again, and again, and again. I don't know how to process this. I don't know where to begin with this. I don't know how to deal with this. All I did know is that if my dad found out, he would kill him. So I had to keep it a secret. I was literally becoming two different people. There'd be the guy that could go to school and kind of get through a day. And then there would be the guy that cannot stop looking at pornography. This is not casual. This is, I can't stop. I'm driven to this thing. So I had to keep it a secret.
I have spent an entire lifetime struggling with temptation. I have struggled with alcohol. I have struggled with sex, pornography at a very young age. You know, struggling with that even as a newly married guy, you know, those temptations and those thoughts. And 7 years in our marriage, you know, I struggled with infidelity and almost ended our marriage then. And then I got sober and thought that would fix everything. All the other stuff would stop as well, you know. And just eventually going down the path I was, and the more success I got with my career, the more I thought I could have what I wanted and do what I wanted to do. I created this dual life. Lust, no matter who they were or where I was, you know. Could be in church. I entered into a relationship outside of my marriage with someone. I'm a bad person. You know, I kept my wife in the dark about everything. I was there, but I wasn't there. I was present, but not present. That in itself led to me starting to branch out and want to start up other things with other women. The sexting and all that started up with random people that I didn't even know. I was convinced I'm going to leave my wife. I'm going to leave my kids. But now I'm in so deep, I don't know what to do. I'm sunk. This is like sociopath stuff, you know? This is like crazy. Oh, I can't even. I was just a dead person. I was. I had run out of lies.
Get so confused and wrapped up in expectations that it's just easy to kind of go astray.
We pretty much didn't care how the other person felt. She was going off and hanging out with some of her friends, you know, at the bar or doing whatever, and I was hanging out with my friends, you know, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
Our house began to be kind of silently angry. I kind of learned to fight quietly. I never wanted it to be over. I always wanted to be married to Nathan. But I guess I just didn't know how to bring it back and to make it what it needed to be. I was lost. I just didn't know how to make it work. We've probably been married about 3.5 years, and I found myself having an affair with a man from work.
My part was pretty secretive. She didn't have any clue what I was doing. Mine was just a couple of one-night stands, which were emotionally meaningless to me. Hers, on the other hand, was more emotional than it was anything. And we were just driving each other apart.
I think we're all made for intimacy. But intimacy carries its risks. People can reject us. People can disappear. They can die. Pornography offers this artificial intimacy with no risks. So every day I said hello to the woman who wouldn't laugh at me or who found me attractive, engaging. And every day I gave a piece of myself away. It left me emptier and hungrier every time, and yet I kept coming back. I was oblivious to what it was doing to my wife until one day she caught me. I don't know how long she'd been standing there, but she was crying. And so I apologized and we talked it through. I was still afraid. A few days later, she found a condom on the floor in the bathroom that I couldn't quite explain. This time, she didn't cry. She sat me down on the edge of our bed and she said, "I'm done. I still love you, but I don't like you. I don't trust you. I don't respect you. And I don't believe you can ever change." That's what it took.
We were just driving each other apart into somebody else's arms.
God put this incredible conviction on me, and I couldn't continue with it, so I ended it. About a week or two after I had ended it, a friend of ours had come to talk to us, to invite us to church.
God had been speaking to us, for a couple of weeks before that. About, it seems like everywhere I turned, somebody was asking me, are you guys in church? And when we got there, it was almost as if Christ just walked to our pew in the aisle and just slapped us both across the face and said, "I've brought you here. I've walked you to the front door. What more do you want?"
I still had not told him what I had done. And about 3 months into going to church, I woke up one morning.
She woke up one morning just bawling, and I asked her what was wrong, and she said, I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
It was though God told me that in order for me to be able to move on, to be able to grow, and to be able to repair our relationship, that I was going to have to tell him.
In the back of my mind, I knew exactly what she had to tell me. I just didn't know who or when or why.
It was like he assured me that it was going to be hard, but if I would do this, then he would make our relationship wonderful, beyond even my comprehension.
So we sat in my truck, and she spilled her guts and told me everything about it, and told her that Jesus had been telling her that she needs to tell me this. And at that moment, Christ told me, "Tell your wife what you've been doing, because you two can forgive each other, and I can make your marriage something awesome." She reacted completely different than I thought she would. She just looked at me and said, "I forgive you."
Without Jesus, I think that we would be divorced right now.
We're not moving laterally to each other. We're moving centrally towards God, and that's bringing us close together. And that's something that I love from the bottom of my heart.
The kind of miracle that God did for us is more than words could even express. I can look in the mirror and I can be proud of what God has done for us.
It was 2-3 weeks before my wife and I ended up on our knees in our living room.
As painful as it was, as heartbreaking as it was, I still knew that I would be committed to my marriage vows. I knew I had to forgive him, and I was going to have to walk out that forgiveness.
She chose to honor God and to honor our marriage by fighting for it, rather than walking away.
Dave and I were on our knees in our living room.
And she started praying for me and then prayed with me. At that moment, I had the opportunity to give my life away, finally. That was the night that I asked God to come to me right where I was and to rescue me and get me out of this pit that I was in. And I thought I had to tell him what a wreck and what a mess I was, and he already knew. And took me as I was. That's all I really wanted, for somebody to just take me the way I was.
Even though I was in the throes of all that pain and hurt and brokenness, once we opened our eyes, I knew something had changed in Dave. He saw the beauty of the Christ for the first time.
To do somebody completely one way and then turn around and do you completely the opposite. I guess that's what God does with us, you know? I guess that's what grace is. We get what we don't deserve. My name is Dave Robbins, and I am second.
I would love to tell you that as soon as I accepted Christ into my life, I put porn down and never picked it up again. But the fact that the Lord would be patient enough with me, knowing that it didn't take me 5 minutes to get into it, and it probably wasn't gonna take 5 minutes to get out. But if I just started walking with him, he would just start shedding layers of bondage and abuse, molestation, low self-esteem, people-pleasing. This stuff, as we began to walk, stuff would just start falling off of me. And that he would give me relationships. When God really wants to love you, he loves you through people. And he brought people into my life to literally love all that crap out of me. And it's been a great walk. 14 years, still walking. It's been good. So, I don't carry secrets anymore. My name is Tim Ross, and I am second.
I don't think I ever really met Jesus until I stepped out of my church persona and became just another desperate, broken man. That's when he really became real to me. This isn't the ministry I planned, but I know it's mine. And my wife knows it too. We're in it together. My wife will tell you today that she's been married to 2 guys named Nate Larkin. And as hard as those first 20 years were, she'd take him again to get the last 10. I'm Nate Larkin, and I am second.